What's up, Periscope? With Credit Suite. And today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about how to get business financing. More importantly, we're going to be talking about how to get what I call no-doc business financing. And this is financing that doesn't require tax returns and it doesn't require bank statements for approval. So the cool thing about no-doc business financing is you can get it even as a startup. You can get it even if you don't have tax returns. You can get it even if you don't want to supply bank statements or if you're overdrawing your bank account. You can get on no-doc financing. In a lot of scenarios, you can't get a lot of other kind of business financing. Welcome, Prosperous. Thanks for coming today. I appreciate it. Hey, welcome, Scotty D. Appreciate you coming in today. Teresa, hey, thanks everybody for joining us. So there's a lot of benefits of what we're talking about. Prince, hello, welcome, and welcome back, everybody. I'm glad you guys can make it. I missed you guys. Last time I wasn't able to be here. I think was it last week? I lose track of time. Linsofab. Hey, Tiffany, what's up? Welcome, everybody. So today what we're going to be doing is diving in. We're going to be talking a little bit more about how to get business loans. So last scope we talked about how to get business loans if you have revenue, if you have cash flow. We talked about how to get cash flow financing even if you have bad credit, even if you don't have collateral, but you have to be in business a year. We talked about another kind of financing if you have tax returns and have been in business for longer than a year. I have the Finance Suite, great product. Linsofab, thank you very much for that. Driving, can't get home fast enough. Drive faster, Greyhouse Consulting. Drive faster, move, honk, get people out of the way. Good afternoon, welcome ABC Credit today. Thank you guys so much for coming. So last scope we talked about the first aspect of business loans, which is how to get loans based on your cash flow, right? Need to get a bank taken off your report. Prosperous, it sounds like maybe a bankruptcy taken off your consumer credit report. One day we're going to do a scope on credit repair. I need to do that for you guys. Even though I'm not in the industry anymore, I built and sold a credit repair business, so I know some things about that. So I will definitely get you guys a scope on that as well. But today we're diving more into business loans. On our last scope, we talked about 3 different ways you can get financing for a business when a bank won't help you. How to get it based on cash flow, how to get it based on credit, how to get it based on collateral, or the 3 C's of lending, as I like to call it. How much money have you made? Thanks, Ty. That's a completely loaded question because I have no idea exactly what you're asking about how much we make. But anyways, so this week what we're going to do is talk about the second of those 3 C's. Remember, you can get financing for a business based on the strength of your business. Okay, so the question becomes, what is your strength? Well, if you have cash flow, great. Then go back to our last scope. If you've been in business for more than a year, you've had more than $10,000 a month in revenue, it's a great strength to consider. But today we're talking about, what if you're a startup? What if you're just getting started in business? What if you don't have collateral, you don't have cash flow yet? What if your tax returns aren't good? What if your bank statements aren't good? Well, today I'm going to map out exactly how you can get up to $150,000 in unsecured financing. No collateral required, even as a startup, even when you typically will not be able to get approved for banks. Like how much? I have $100K laying around. That's awesome. Congratulations. Kind of. I'm sorry that it's only 100, but congratulations. But I'm glad you're here because you'll learn how to put a lot more than 100 aside. So that being said, there's a lot of different things that you can do to be able to get financing for a business. And today we're talking about unsecured financing up to 150 grand, no doc. No doc means no tax returns. No doc means no bank statements. Okay, so you're going to be able to get this even as a startup or even if your financials are not good. So let's take a look at the whiteboard. What we're talking about here is what we call the 3 C's of lending. There's 3 different ways you can get a business loan, even when you can't get a business loan at your bank, right? So banks have to have all 3 of these. You've got to have good cash flow and good tax returns. You've got to have good personal, business, and bank credit. You also have to have collateral as well, okay? So that being said, if you have one of these strengths, you can typically get money for your business. If you don't, you typically can't. This will also help with online as a blogger. Yes, this will help with any kind of business, Tiffany, even an online blogging business. So last week, or last scope, we talked about this. Today, we're going to talk about 2 things. First of all, what if your strength is good credit? Or what if you have a guarantor that has good personal credit? If you have good personal credit or a guarantor with personal credit that is good, then you can get up to 150 grand in unsecured financing with 0% interest rates for about 6 to 18 months. Now, what's nice about this financing is it's no doc. No doc means there's no bank statements like we need with revenue lending. There's no tax returns like we need with private money. So you don't need income documentation, which is why you can get it as a startup and why you can get it if your financials are bad. all you need is one of two things. A guarantor, someone that will guarantee this for you with the 685 FICO or score higher, or a FICO score of 685 or higher for yourself. Now, I marked out 700 and put 685 because this used to be 700. And I want you to know this recently changed, so it's even easier to get this. And I'll talk to you about a way today, even if you have scores as low as 650, to get into this kind of program. So again, you can get approved as a startup. Unsecured financing, which means no collateral requirements. So unsecured means no collateral. No doc means no cash flow verification. All it's based on is personal credit or a guarantor having personal credit. Okay. So that being said, you can also come in. Michael, you're still trying to prove yourself, man. I'm sorry. Only the 245 now. You're getting up there, but now not even close to where you should be. Now what you're asking you to change professions is my best advice to you. So with cash or credit-based financing, well, how this works is you can get 5 unsecured business credit cards with limits that mimic your highest limit account that you have now. So if the highest limit account you have now, for example, is $20,000, then you can get 5 of those type of accounts or about $100 grand. Where do I go for that loan? So if my sister has good credit, she can help me get the business loan. Yes, she can. And I'll talk to you more about that in a second. CreditSuite.com/get funding. Okay. And I'm thankful for you. I appreciate you coming on. CreditSuite.com/get funding is where you can go to get approved for any of this financing we're talking about. Remember, we never charge you a fee to do this. Okay. So that being said, then I come in. I know, Michael, you're still trying to prove yourself, man. I'm sorry to hear that. And I'm sorry that you still only have those numbers, but that's okay. We'll help you get more. So that being said, you can come in and get 5 unsecured business credit cards. And ABC Credit Today, welcome. It's your first scope. I appreciate you coming today. So 5 unsecured business cards that mimic your highest limit account. So if your highest limit account is 30 grand, you can get 50. If your highest limit account is 20 grand, you can get 100. Somebody just said, my sister has good credit. What's her highest limit revolving account? You can usually get 5 times that amount with this program. So let me show you why you want. The problem with credit lines, as we talked about last week, is that in a lot of cases, your approval amount is based on the actual net profit on your tax returns. Okay, it's very hard to get one large amount of money from any kind of lender. But if you chunk it, if you get high limits from multiple different lenders, then a couple things happen. With this program, you're literally creating competition, which means that one company gives you, let's say, a $20,000 limit, the other one gives you 15. It's easy to go back to the one with 15 and say, well, I'm not going to use this card because this source gave me 20, and get them to easily raise the limit. It creates competition, which makes it even easier for you to come in and be able to get approved. Now, LidSoFab is saying 685 score minimum. Yes, you need a 685 score, okay? That's funny. All right, Michael. So Mike, it sounds like Michael's a troll, so we'll just block him. Okay, you're out of here. All right, so this is how this works. So you want to create competition, because when you create competition, then what happens is you actually are able to get your limits raised initially and over time, okay? So this makes it easy for you to be able to get more and more money, because you're ultimately getting approved for 5 different sources of credit, 5 revolving cards. They all report to the business credit reporting agencies. I let the cat out of the bag on that. It's a huge benefit, which I'll talk about in a minute. You create competition between the card issuers, and then this gives them an incentive to want to give you higher and higher limits. So it's a great way to 5 or 10x what you're typically going to normally get. Casser LLC, welcome. ABC Credit Today, again, welcome to Periscope. I know it's your first day. So it's a great way to create competition, which gets your limits increased more and more and more over time, which is why 5 cards matters. You'll get more money this way than you would with one. You'll also get about 5 times more than you'll ever get at your bank if you go to get a business credit card. And you create competition, which helps them compete against each other, raising your limits higher and faster than what you'd normally get if you only had one revolving account. The other benefit, which I just kind of let the cat out of the bag and I'll give you a little bit more insight, is that these accounts report to the business credit reporting agencies. So you're doing 2 things. First of all, you're getting up to $150,000 in unsecured financing for your business, right? The second thing is that you're actually creating your own business credit profile and score with 5 high limit cash credit accounts. Now, this isn't like the normal business credit we talk about. You need a personal guarantee. You need a personal credit check. It's based on personal credit, unlike the business credit we normally talk about. But the benefit here is that you're building your business credit as well as getting up to $150,000 in unsecured financing. So as you already know, when you build your business credit, this opens the door for you to get a ton of other high limit accounts. So let me show you how this works. Remember, we talked about the steps to build business credit, right? And the first step that deals with getting new credit is vendor accounts. You have to get Uline and Quill and these. Well, if you use this program, you can get the 5 accounts you need to move on to store credit without getting vendor credit accounts. You don't need this step. Because instead of getting 5 vendor accounts, you jumpstart your business credit profile with these 5 unsecured cards. They report to D&B, Equifax, and Experian. They give you an established business credit report score. Blunts, welcome, man. I love your name, and I love that it's your first day on Periscope. That's awesome. So you get 5 accounts from using these unsecured business credit cards. So not only do you get up to 150 grand as a startup without collateral, without cash flow, no doc, and get it at 0% rates for 6 to 18 months, but you also accomplish one of the initial steps of building business credit. You get 5 accounts that report to the business credit reporting agencies, which gives you credit with D&B, Equifax, and Experian, and then this jump starts where you can start to move on to get high limit store credit accounts and cash credit accounts without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check. Do I still need to establish credibility first with this program? Not so much. You don't need a lot of the stuff that you normally would need, although it will help you to get approved. You will need an entity set up. You will need your business name and entity, but you don't have to have as much of this other stuff. It's not as important as business credit as it is in building business credit. And think about what? When you're building business credit, does T-Mobile count? If they report to the business credit reporting agency, which they do for true business credit, then yes. So remember, with business credit building, when you start applying for credit, you have none. This is why credibility matters. Because if you have no credit established, well then they're going to go just based on what's on your application, so this becomes even more important. With this credit, they're pulling your personal credit, making the approval decision there. They're then putting the accounts on your report, so credibility doesn't matter as much. This jumpstarts your ability to start to move on to store credit, to get these kind of limited store credit accounts, right? 5 grand, 8 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand, 40 grand, 7 grand, 25, 30. Remember, if they're putting $10, $20, $30,000 limit accounts on your D&B, Equifax, and Experian reports, then what happens is that makes it even easier for you to start getting high limit store credit card accounts, 15 grand, 20, 30 grand. So this is a really big jump start to business credit building. You get rid of this step, and instead of starting your business credit account with $500, $1,500, $2,000 limit accounts, you're starting it with $10,000 to $20,000 cash credit accounts. You get real usable cash for your 5 accounts instead of vendor. You then move on to store credit. You already have high limits. You already have your EIN credit established, and then you can start moving in and start getting these kind of approvals with store. So a huge benefit of this program, several we've talked about. First of all, no cash flow required. No collateral required, no doc, no tax returns, no bank statements, 0% for 6 to 18 months, up to 150 grand even as a startup. Jumpstart your business credit building. You get 5 cards which create competition. Okay, so a ton of benefits. Now again, if you have good credit or good credit guarantor and you want to see how much you can get, go to creditspeed.com/get funding. Remember, we never charge you a dime for any funding. We're going to help you through the process. The lending source on this will charge you a fee, and we'll talk a little bit more about how much they charge as I get further down the whiteboard. So 5 accounts which create competition, 0% for 6 to 18 months, business credit reporting. So is this if you use your social? Yes. Remember, what we've talked about in the past, you can build business credit without using your social, regardless of personal credit. But let's say you want to jumpstart your business credit building account and get a bunch of cash right away, and you just happen to have a 685 FICO or a guarantor, somebody that will sign for you that does. This is a great way to accomplish 2 things at once. You get up to 150 grand in 0% financing, and you jumpstart your business credit building by knocking out the vendor step and moving right to the store step, where you can start getting high limit store credit accounts like all these recent approvals that we've seen. Okay, so the lender will charge, or I should say the lender, because it's actually a finance source that helps you secure the cards. They will charge 9 to 12% fee. Okay, the ones we deal with, we do so much volume, they're on the lower end of this range, but you can expect others out there to have it up to a 12% fee. A guarantor is welcome. You can get approved even as a startup. You don't have any collateral requirements. It's no doc, and you're getting 5 times the amount of your current limit accounts down. So here's why this is probably one of the coolest funding programs that's out there. First of all, a lot of people don't know about this at all. Probably because there's less than 8 or so legitimate financial sources out there that do a good job. I know we vetted them all because we do a lot of financing with this program. So here's the deal. We work with a lot of people that think they can go into their bank because they have good personal credit. But the problem is your bank, and like any credit issuer, is pretty much going to approve you for about what your highest credit limit account is. One card and one card only. So yes, I got charged 12% 6 months ago. Yes. And you told me that, Prince, and I told you we could have helped you at that point for 9-10% and probably got you more money. But if it's more than 6 months ago and those inquiries are a little older, then we might be able to help you now. So if you go into your bank, and we'll talk about some requirements in a second. If you go into your bank, they're only going to give you one credit card that mimics your highest limit account. If you went next door to the next bank, well then they're maybe not going to approve you or not going to approve you for as much because they're going to see that inquiry on your credit report. With this program, you're dealing with a financial source that, one, knows these sources in your region that will get you the most amount of money, the highest approvals. They know the ones that report to the business credit reporting agencies. Guys, this isn't something you're going to find on your own. If you go to creditcards.com, if you go to your bank, if you go to Capital One or any of these, most of these accounts, they'll give you a card with your business name, but then the card reports to your personal credit reports. So as you use the credit, your credit scores go down. It's one of the biggest problems people have is they think they're getting a business credit card. Capital One, for example. You go to Capital One and you get a business credit card, a Spark card. It reports on your consumer credit report. Well, the way FICO works, if you put money on that account, if you utilize that credit card you have, your scores go down. You want me to show you how much? Here's how FICO works. Your FICO consumer credit score, this is how your FICO score is actually built. I already have my Connects 200,000 without business registered in the state. I have my Connects. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but if you type that in again, I'll go ahead and give you any inquiry if you want. Cash only. Okay, so utilization. Okay, so this is how FICO works right here. 30%, a third of your credit score is based on utilization. Okay, so if you put an account like a Capital One Spark card on your consumer credit report and you utilize even any amount on there, any balance, especially over 30%, then the problem with that is you're going to drive your FICO score down. And CEO Ballin, yes, we will. So this is the problem, is that any credit you get that reports for your business on your consumer reports, as you utilize it, you drive your score down, you tank your score because a third of your score is based on utilization, and that's only part of the problem. Okay, the other part of the problem is that in a lot of cases, if you're not building business credit, as you continue to get more and more credit for your business, then you continue to put more inquiries on there, which is why you want to build your business credit. So this is the problem with cards that have your business name that report on the reporting agencies for the consumer side. You can tank your scores because 30% of the score is based on utilization. These are business accounts, which means you could max them out and your score wouldn't drop. They report to the business credit reporting agencies. And business credit reporting agencies are based on how you pay your bills, not utilization. So are you guys ready for your next recession? China curfew? Okay, awesome. It's starting, guys. All right, so here we go. So when we look at Equifax, the whole score is based on how you pay. So you could get 5 business credit card accounts, max them out, and not even drop your business credit score 1 point, because all you have to do to be able to get good scores is to get bill or to get credit that reports to the business reporting agencies and pay your bills as agreed. CEO Ballin, thank you very much for sharing. I appreciate that. So this is what we're doing. And CEO Ballin asked me to go through and recap. There's 3 different ways you can get money for a business based on your strength. Cash flow, credit, collateral. Today we're jumping into credit. If you have a 685 credit score, even as a startup, you can get no doc financing up to 150 grand at 0% financing. You're getting 5 business credit cards, which create competition, which helps you get your limits increased from each individual source. And these all report to the business credit reporting agencies. Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian. So once you have 5 accounts on your D&B, Equifax, and Experian reports, then what happens is you can start to apply for high limit Store credit cards at almost all major retailers. These are real approvals from people on our Periscope and Facebook that we verified by pulling their business credit reports. Okay, none of this credit you see, none of it required a personal credit check or a guarantee for approval. So what you're doing is jump-starting your ability to get $15, $20, $8, $40, $30,000, $25,000 Amazons, Dells, everything without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check. If I put 15 in a Wells Bank secure credit card limit, it's possible. You can build a vendor account through a Wells Fargo secure credit card. They'll pull your personal credit and they'll base the approval decision based on that. You can also get your 5 accounts to start your business credit building using any of these sources that will give you credit if you have none and report to the reporting agencies, or you can do what I'm talking about today. Use your credit or that of a guarantor to get 5 unsecured business credit cards with limits that mimic your current high revolving limit now. They report to D&B, Equifax, and Experian, and they jumpstart your ability to get this. You think after getting $150 and pay back, we can go back for another loan without the guarantor? Well, it's all based on your personal credit quality. So remember, this is unsecured revolving credit, not a loan. So you're going to have to get your score to 685 or higher to be able to get this without an actual guarantor. Okay, so let's look at some of the requirements here. You've got to have utilization below 30% on your revolving accounts now. You need to have about 5 or less. I put 4, about 4 to 5 inquiries on each bureau or less in the last 6 months. What if you already have $150 in student loan debt? It won't matter. The amount of debt you won't matter. What will matter is that you have no derogatory items on your credit report, utilization below 30%, less than 4 to 5 inquiries on your report in the last 6 months, and a 685 FICO. If you have that combination, a 685 FICO or a guarantor that meets this requirement, utilization of 30% or low, inquiries less than 4 or 5, and no derogatory items on your report, you can qualify. If you don't, you can use a guarantor while you get your credit to this point where you can, and then come back and get it. Now, if you use yourself and a guarantor, you're able to get even more money, sometimes even able to surpass the 150 grand, okay? So a lot of things. What about one late payment a year ago? Good question. So here's the deal. If you've got one late payment, you're probably not going to get 5x. You might get 3x. You might get 4x. So for example, let's say you have your utilization a little high. Let's say you have one derogatory item. Let's say you have a few too many inquiries. Well, then you might not get 5 times the amount of highest revolving credit limit. You might only get 3 or 4 times. So if this is all making sense and you think you can qualify or have a guarantor, remember at any time, creditsuite.com/get funding. We never charge you a dime for any funding we get. We'll help you use all the volume we do to get the best pricing. The finance source usually charges a 9 to 12% fee of what you get. It's a success-based fee. It's only after they get you the funding. Second round without the guarantor through the business, not through personal. Yes, now you're talking. Can you talk about the fee? I will. So what you're saying is, hey, first round, we come in, and what's the closing fee? I'll go over that more in the fee, and there's only one fee, and I'll go over that in a second. So the first round, let's say you get 5 accounts. Now you have 5 trade lines. Then you start getting store accounts without an EIN or without a personal credit check, without a guarantee. You get to 10 to 15 accounts, and then you can take the next step of start getting fleet and cash credit. So what you can do to answer your question is use this kind of credit to get 5 accounts, jumpstart, skip the vendor step of building business credit, then start to get high limit store credit card accounts without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check, no social security number pulled, no social on your app. Then you're able to start getting cash credit, fleet credit without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check. So this can be used to jumpstart you through the business credit building process. Now, somebody said, what if I, can't have one derogatory? Well, another way you can go here is this program also works. If you have a 650 score to 685, you can also get this exact same program. 5x, 0%, no doc, but the accounts report to the consumer reporting agencies, not the business. You don't get the benefit of business reporting, only the benefits of everything else. The no startup, the no collateral, the no doc, the 5 times the amount of your highest limit, the up to 150 grand, but you're going to have it report to the consumer reporting agency. So 2 options. You either have good credit or a guarantor that does, or you have 650 to 685 average, somewhere in between. You still might qualify for maybe 2x, maybe 3x here, or maybe you're going to get consumer reporting. Usually I see the financial source in that situation where you're less than 685 or have utilization or inquiries that are too high. What I see them do is give you both. They'll say, look, we're going to get you 30 grand in business cards and probably another 30 in consumer cards. What do you want us to do? And then you can choose. Do you want them to get you both? Do you want only the business? Do you want more through consumer? You have a choice. So the nice thing about this program is questions about the fee is that, first of all, there's no cost to find out what you can get approved for. If you go to creditsuite.com/get funding, all you need to qualify is credit monitoring with 3 reporting agencies. That's all. Now, you don't want anybody at this point to pull your credit to see what you can get because those inquiries are worth their weight in gold. One inquiry can cost you $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in approvals. So this is why you should never go out and blindly apply for loans and credit cards unless you know what you're doing, because one inquiry can cost you $20,000 or $30,000 of approval in this program. You go to creditsuite.com/get funding. We're going to ask you, Bishop, thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's awesome. And what we're going to do is we're going to get your credit monitoring and look and give you an idea of what we think you can get approved for. We're going to send you the finance source. They're going to get on a consult call and they're going to serve you up a report that says, based on your credit, a review of your credit monitoring, here's what we think we can get you. We can get you $150,000 in business credit cards. Or maybe your credit's not at the 685, no derogatories. Hey, we can get you $30,000 in business credit cards, another 30 in consumer. They're going to give you an idea of what you want. Sometimes people don't even want that much, and they say they only want 20 grand, and the finance source caps them and only shuts them off at 20. They only get them 20 grand in approval. Sometimes somebody says, look, I know you can get me 30 in business and 30 in consumer, but I only want the business. Then the finance source goes out and only gets you the business. You'll have a choice, but you can at least find out what's possible at absolutely no cost. One mortgage inquiry will affect financing. Any inquiries will affect financing, guys. Any of them. This is why you never blindly apply for business loans, period. Go to creditsuite.com/get funding. Think of it like this. We never charge you a dime ever to get a business loan. We help you through the entire process for free. Okay, what about a 401k? We'll talk about that more next week, but you can get up to 100% business financing against your 401k at a rate of 5%. Okay, and you can get credit lines and loans. We'll talk about that more next week. The bottom line is, guys, we can help you through the loan process. Use our way of doing all the volume we do. You'll never pay us a dime at all. And I am not ignoring the closing cost question. I'll talk to you about fees in just a second. Awesome, man. That's Cash Monet. Congratulations. I'm so glad. Here, you're blocked. See, why'd you do that? Now you're blocked. So that being said, guys, you can also come in and you're able to do a lot of cool things with this program. No doc, unsecured, up to 150 grand, build your business credit at exactly the same time, and all you need is a 685 FICO or a guarantor that has it. If you have less than that, you still might get approved for personal cards. If you want to find out, then go to creditsuite.com/get funding. All you need is credit monitoring login to get all 3 reporting agencies. Once we can do that, then we'll find out what you can get approved for. It doesn't cost you anything. So now here's the fees. Everybody wants to know, what's the closing cost? What's the fee? It's very simple. The finance sources on this, well, you're going to get 0% cards for 6 to 18 months. After the 6 to 18 months expires, then you're going to pay whatever the normal credit card rates are, right? 5 to 30%, whatever regular business credit cards are based on your risk. It's usually somewhere between, let's say, 8 and 15% are normal business credit cards. So when you get approved, the finance source is going to charge you a fee ranging from 9 to 12%. I've seen some sources out there charge 12 to 15%. Our sources typically charge between the 8 and 10% range, or about 9% on average. Whoever's going crazy with the loves, thank you very much. I appreciate it. So this is how it's going to work. No upfront fee. They're going to send you a report and says, we think we can get you $50,000 in business credit cards. You say, go get them, Tiger. You sign off on the documents. They're going to go forward and get you the actual credit. As you get one card, they serve you with an invoice. So let's just say the fee is 9%. And let's say they get you a card of $100,000, right? Well, then let's say realistically, let's say they get you one card of, $10,000. Well, then what they're going to do is they're going to serve you with an invoice for $900, okay, to actually be able to get that card. So you get the card for 10 grand in the mail, they serve you an invoice for 900, and most of our clients put the $900 fee on the card they get. So they get a card for 10 grand, they get served an invoice, let's say for 9% for and you're going to know the fee up front. You get an invoice for $900, you pay the $900 on the card you get. Next time in the mail, you get a $15,000 card. So now you pay the fee for that $15,000 card on the card that you get. So all you're going to pay is one fee, and it's about 9 to 10% from the finance source we use. It can be much higher with some of the other ones out there we tried to use. They just don't get as much money. They're not as fast, and they charge too much, which is why we still don't use them. Okay, 795 score, 800 FICO score. Do I qualify? You can qualify with the 685 FICO. So, Fat Cat, which is freaking awesome Periscope name, by the way. Just out of curiosity, give me an idea what your highest limit account is. You've got high 700 scores. What's the highest limit revolving account you have? So we can use an example to give somebody an idea of what they're actually going to get and an idea of the fee that you may pay. So you kind of have an idea. So the bottom line is you're only going to pay one fee on this. It's about 9 to 10%, and it's going to be put on the card that you get with get the financing with. If you want to, it's your choice. As you get each one of these 5 cards, they send you an invoice. You could pay the invoice however you want to. Most of our clients get the card and use the card they get to pay the fee. So you're basically rolling in the fee just like you would with an SBA loan. So fee for 100 grand is going to be 9%, right? So for example, if you're getting $100,000, it's going to be 9 grand as your fee on 100 grand. If it's $50,000, your fee is going to be, let's say, $4,500. So Fat Cat, $7,500 plus 8.99. So you're going to be able to get about 5 times that, which is about $37,000 roughly. Okay, so you're going to get 5 times the amount of your highest credit limit account. I can't hold a marker and show up 5. So 5 times. So 7,500, that's about like what, 37,000? So you'd probably get up to $37,000 in financing. You get that in about 3 weeks worth of time from starting the process, and your fee on that would be about $3,200 is what you'd be really looking at. How much in fees though? Homeless. You're homeless. That's your name. You can't afford the fees if you're homeless. I'm just kidding. So I just told you the fee is about 9 to 10% of whatever amount you get. So in Fat Cat's example, she's got about a $7,500 limit. Is this available in the UK? Only if you have a US social. So I don't know if you have that or not. I'm bankable though. I have cash flow. I understand, and that's 2 different options. So if you have a revenue, then that opens up what we talked about in our last scope, which is revenue financing. So you might be able to get both. So homeless, you might be able to get, which is really weird, calling somebody homeless and talking about how much money you can get, but I'm going to go there anyways. So homeless, you can get probably cash flow financing based on your cash flow and this kind of financing if you have good credit. But here's the thing. This is much cheaper than what you're going to get using your cash flow only to qualify. Yeah, but conventional financing is cheaper. Of course it is. Of course conventional financing is cheaper because it's full doc. I'm talking about a no documentation program here. Of course, full documentation is cheaper than no doc. If you can go full doc, if you have great personal credit, bank credit, if you have good bank credit, if you keep money in your bank account, if you have tax returns that show a profit. Union said they wanted to give me a $40,000 auto loan RV. That's great, but that's different. Okay, I'm guaranteeing, and with this you are, but remember, if you've watched and if you haven't, go back. This is a key to building business credit so you don't have to guarantee. So homeless, do you not want to guarantee? No problem. The question is, I want non-recourse? No problem. How's your business credit? Homeless, let me know how your business credit quality is. I can get you no recourse all day long. All you have to have is 10 to 15 trade lines on your DMB, Equifax, and Experian report, and an 80 Paydex or an 80 IntelliScore or higher. If you've got established business credit, then that's all that matters. Global Disc is 2.5. So all that matters, look, if you want no recourse financing, it's not tough to get. All you have to do is build your business credit. If you don't have established business credit, you're not going to get no PG financing. It's all based on having established business credit. Banks don't look at business credit. That's funny. I love that. So obviously you don't know a lot about business credit, and that's okay. Most people don't. But actually banks do look at business credit. What banks actually look at is called a FICO SBSS score. To get an SBA loan from a bank, they're going to pull a FICO SBSS score. A FICO SBSS score, it requires a 140 score at your bank to get approved. You cannot get a FICO SBSS score of 140 or higher if you have no business credit established. You absolutely have to have established business credit to get a bank loan. If you're talking about a loan for your business, don't take my word for it. Go right to SBA's website. And if you look at SBA's website for loan requirements, they'll tell you clearly you need to have established personal credit, good business credit with no blemishes on your credit report. If you look at FICO's website, they'll tell you the same thing. I'm past SBA financing. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but the bottom line is, as of effective 2014, SBA requires established business credit and a FICO SBSS of 140 to get approved. So the bottom line is you cannot get a loan at a bank if you do not have established business credit. You cannot get no recourse financing and without a personal guarantee without established business credit. But if you do have established business credit, you can. So the key is business credit to be able to get approved. I asked Seton to report and they sent me an email saying that they are not a reporting agency. They're not a report. 18 years of my credit union, never missed an account. You want to give me a $40,000 auto loan at 1.98? Well, this is what I can do for you on the auto financing. What we can do is help you build business credit so you can get auto vehicle financing without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check. Fat Cat, ask your bank for that. Ask your bank and see if they'll give you a 1.98 auto financing loan without pulling your personal credit and without you being personally liable. Okay, if they can't, then the problem is that you don't have established business credit. So it's just a different word. With this one, it's only based on personal credit. 685 score or higher from you or a guarantor, no doc, no financials, no tax returns, no bank statements. You can get up to 150 grand at 0% financing with no collateral and no cash flow requirements, even as a startup. You're going to get 5 unsecured business credit cards that report to the business credit reporting agencies, DNB, Equifax, and Experian. So not only are you getting up to $150,000 in business credit or in unsecured credit, you're also building your corporate credit. And as a result of building your corporate credit with 5 accounts reporting, then you can move in to start getting high limit store credit accounts without a personal guarantee or credit check. When I say high limits, what do I mean? These are real approvals from people on our Periscope and Facebook that keep up with the approvals and let us know what they're getting, and we verify this by pulling their business credit reports. 15,000 approvals, 40,000 approval, fleet credit cards, Visa credit cards, cards at almost every major retailer, Dell, Fleet, Amazon, Wex, Pitney Bowes, Visas, Bank of America, Apple. None of this credit requires a personal guarantee for approval. None of it requires a personal credit check either. All you have to do to start getting this kind of high limit account is have 5 accounts reporting on your business credit reports. And again, in the past, we've talked about a few things you can do. If I go to thecreditsuite.com/get funding, is my credit going to be pulled? No, it's not. Unless you actually say to move forward. creditsuite.com/get funding, there that you're just going to get with our finance officers. We're going to tell you the kind of finance you could get. For this program, you're going to need to come in with credit monitoring so the finance source can see what your credit's like without the inquiry. Then they can tell you how much you can get approved without the inquiry. If you say move forward, there will be inquiries on your report because they're going to get you 5 cards that will put 5 inquiries on your report. And you're typically going to get about 5 approvals, about 5 times the amount of your highest approval. So if your highest limit account's 20 grand, you'll get 100 about with this program. If your highest limit account's 10 grand, you'll get about 50,000 with this account. No doc, no collateral requirements, even as a startup. And all you need is good credit, 685 score higher, or a guarantor that has one. Tiffany, thank you for inviting your followers. That's awesome. Utilization below 30% revolving overall and on your individual accounts, less than 4 to 5 inquiries in the last 6 months on your credit report, and a 685 FICO. If you have that or a guarantor that does, you can qualify. If you just missed the mark, your utilization is a little high, your inquiries are a little high, your score is a little low, you can still get the same program, no doc, 100% up to 150, but the cards might report some of them to the consumer reporting agencies. You never need to guess. Once you go to creditsuite.com/get-funding, we'll talk to you about the program, we'll get you the financial source, they'll give you a report that maps out exactly what you can get approved for, including telling you whether it's business, consumer, or what. Those 5 inquiries only count as one though, since they're done all within the first 30 days. No, that is incorrect. That is only correct with auto and mortgages. So any inquiries, if you're applying for a car loan or a mortgage within 30 days, only count as 1 score. Okay, that has to do with something called, these are the scores that lenders pull when they're getting you qualified for an auto loan or a mortgage. It's called a mortgage industry option or an auto industry option. It's a credit scorecard offered by FICO. The bottom line is, if you apply for an auto loan, any auto inquiries in 30 days count as 1 into your FICO score. Any mortgage inquiries in the last 30 days count as 1 into your FICO score. Any other inquiries outside of auto and mortgage will count as 1, 2, 3, 5 inquiries. But keep in mind, new credit inquiries only accounts for 10% of your overall FICO score. So inquiries don't really lower your credit very much. And that 10% is based on the number you applied for, the number you opened, and the time that since you opened and applied. Friend wants to apply for auto loan, but they need me to guarantee it. Will it build their credit? Well, if they're on the loan, yes. If only you are on, help they're building their credit. It depends on who signs on the dotted line. So if I do this and I don't use the credit for a year, what am I charged? Well, it won't matter. With this program, $150,000 in unsecured financing, you're going to get an invoice when you get the approval. So you're going to need to pay the invoice for the financial source, the 9 to 10% fee, whenever you get the actual approval, the same as you would with an SBA loan or pretty much any other kind of business financing. So a lot of stuff we went over today, guys. Now you know how to get up to $150,000 in unsecured financing for a business with 0% rates for 6 to 18 months. Build your business credit at the same time. Works even for a startup, even without collateral, no doc without cash flow. Next week, we are going to be talking about how you can get collateral-based financing. Rates lower than SBA. Rates of 1 to 5%, loans and credit lines, regardless of cash flow, regardless of personal credit. So if you don't have good credit or a guarantor that does, if you don't have cash flow, then tune in next Wednesday at 4 o'clock Eastern here on Periscope. I'm going to map out about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 15 different ways you can get financing regardless of personal credit and regardless of your cash flow. That's going to be taking place next week here on Periscope at 4 o'clock. So will it work for getting into the marijuana industry? Yes, it absolutely will. As a matter of fact, we have even other kind of financing that's specialized just for the marijuana industry, but this program absolutely 100% will work. It's no industry restrictions. Unlike bank loans, no matter what industry you're in, you can still do exactly what we talked about today. And D Blizz, and I know some of the rest of you are just joining, guys, this will be live on Periscope for 24 hours, and we put it at creditsuite.com/scope. All of our scopes are there. Seton informed me they only report delinquent accounts to the bureaus. That's absolutely not true, but here's what I recommend. Call Seton and talk to multiple people. Okay, Seton we see report hundreds and hundreds of accounts report. Seton absolutely reports it, but here's the kicker. A lot of their front-end people just don't know the answer to those questions. Real estate purchase, absolutely. As a matter of fact, this program to get up to $150,000 for unsecured financing is one of the most popular programs we have for real estate investors. Now, next week, we're going to talk about more programs for real estate investors, including a house flipping program where you can get 100% of the financing you need to buy the real estate and to flip and to rehab the property. You can get 100% of the money you need to buy real estate and rehab the property through one kind of loan. We'll talk about that next week. About 14 others we'll talk about as well. A lot of them with rates less than 5% with no cash flow or credit requirements. We'll talk about that this week. But this program, absolutely one of the most popular programs that we have for real estate investors. It's why we do so much financing for real estate investors. Business credit works well for that as well. So guys, if you missed this, this will be live on Periscope for 24 hours. Or go to creditsuite.com/scope. creditsuite.com/scope and get all of our previous scopes there. We house them right there for you for your convenience. What's your contact number? 877-600-2487. Ty, you're awesome. Thank you, Scotty D. I appreciate that. Here, I'm going to give you a couple. Okay, here's our phone number, 877-600-2487. I'm going to try to block out that. 877-600-2487. If you want a guide on building your business credit, go here. creditsuite.com/Periscope. creditsuite.com/Scope to get all of our previous scopes. And if you want to get approved for a business loan, then go to creditsuite.com/get funding. We'll tell you what you can get approved for. We have all these types of financing. We deal with every legitimate kind of financing, including SBA loans, cash flow financing, no doc, unsecured up to 150, all kinds of collateral-based financing we'll talk about next week. And we never charge you a dime to get financing. You'll pay whatever the lender or the finance source charges. We even negotiate that to get you the best deal. So for you to get connected, and I will see you next Wednesday at 4 o'clock when we talk about how to get rates of 1 to 5% financing to get loans and credit lines for your business. No cash flow, no credit requirements. So tune in next Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Thank you. Thanks, Tiffany. Fat Cat, you're awesome. Good luck on your RV loan, Fat Cat. I'm going on our RV in like 10 days, so maybe I'll see you at the Disney campgrounds. Wonderful, Ty, you're awesome. Please keep teaching us how to get your company. I will. We'll keep teaching you everything we know. That's what I'm here. I never want any of you to struggle to get credit financing. I will teach you everything I know to help you as much as I can so you can be successful. I love you too. You're so sweet. Has anyone used this before? Again, if you want to know, you can also go to creditsuite.com, and at the top of our page, you can go to credibility. If you go to creditsuite.com/credibility, we have all kinds of case studies. We have all kinds of actual approvals. You can see our 5-star trust pilot. You can see everybody's real comments from all of our existing customers. You can see a ton of real testimonials where people talk about the money they get, not text, but actual video testimonials that people have. You can go to creditsuite.com/credibility and see a ton of real results. Peace out. Love y'all. Thank you for coming. Next Wednesday at 4 o'clock, how to get business financing, even regardless of cash flow, regardless of personal credit quality, with rates below 5%. I'm going to map out about 15 kinds of financing next week. So I'll see you next week at 4 o'clock on Periscope. Remember, creditsuite.com/get funding if you want to see about the money you can get now. creditsuite.com/scope to access all of our previous Periscopes. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.